is the future of our public education system? Reformers have been at work since before the 1820s, but what are the aims and true ambitions of modern-day reformers? Major corporate companies, including Pearson's, are standing as major beneficiaries to billions of dollars cut from Obama's budget plan, meant to improve public education systems. Are we oblivious to the truth that lies behind a facade of testing and innovation? Are testing strategies such as Common Core substantial grounds to deem schools failing? By the spring of 2008, Michelle Rhee alone had dismissed 36 principals, 22 assistant principals, and nearly 300 teachers in the D.C. district.
There are people who have climbed their way on the political ladder by promoting the idea of closing failing schools. They're entrepreneurial, as she said, and so it absolutely is not of benefit to the students.
Is privatization an entrepreneurial enterprise, or is it truly aiming to improve a student's education? In 2002, the Bush administration implemented a stringent system focused on standardized testing and drastic consequences, called No Child Left Behind. This organization demanded student testing in reading, math, and science annually in grades 3 through 8 and once in grades 10 through 12 as a means of evaluation. In 2012, President Obama replaced this policy with his own Race to the Top initiative, dedicating over $4 billion to encourage transformative change within schools. However, scathing critique followed Obama's new initiative as it evaluates teachers in relation to their students' test scores, much like the No Child Left Behind program, which implemented student testing to mark adequate yearly progress. But what defines adequate yearly progress? And what are the repercussions for the schools who fail to meet these standards? Well, the states determine the adequate performance level for their respective schools, based on the lowest performing schools in the region. If identified for school improvement for 2 consecutive years, schools must face the danger of replaced staff, including the principal, or complete closure and transformation to a local charter. Once a supporter of No Child Left Behind, Diane Ravitch has moved to the opposite side of reform.
Charters should be for the children who are not making it in public schools. They should be for children who dropped out. They should be for autistic children. They should be for children who have tuned out and who need extra motivation.
Ravitch documented her many concerns of an entrepreneurial enterprise in her latest book, Reign of Error. She speaks of a long history of bemoaning critics, claiming that our education system is in grave danger, despite the fact that our high school passing rate is the highest it's ever been. She claims that the standardized testing is not the way to decide whether a school is failing, and that the creation of charter schools will not close the achievement gap.
And then comes the hopes that we can really count on the test to tell us how the kids are doing and how the school is doing and how whether the teacher is a high-quality person or not.
On the other hand, Michelle Rhee, founder and CEO of the Students First organization, is in full support of the reform movement. In her book, Radical, Fighting to Put Students First, Rhee describes her own life experiences to propose her plan to improve the education system. As Chancellor of District of Columbia Schools, Rhee introduced an evaluation system where 50% of a teacher's efficiency was determined by student test scores. After implementing the system for 1 year in the D.C. public school system, 16% of teachers got the highest ranking exceeding expectations. If the teachers continued to excel, they would be eligible to receive up to $25,000 in bonuses. Is it fair to use test scores as the determinant of teachers' effectiveness in the classroom and the amount of pay they receive? Those supporting reform and opposing reform all would like to see the achievement gap narrow, but what is the right way to go about it?
What you need to do is you need to get teachers from the communities that the kids come from, and then you need to improve the conditions in the classroom. Class size is essential. Adequate funding is essential. Particularly important is having skilled teachers, but it's not just skilled teachers, it's skilled teachers who stay in a school over a period of time. And one of the things that charters tend to do is they burn through teachers. So they get a lot of teachers who are there for a year or two and then they're gone. Frankly, it takes you 4 or 5 years to learn to be a decent teacher.
Whatever the problems are, and there are problems, real problems in the public schools, the public can actively address those problems. If we have our schools under private ownership, the public will have even less access to the public schools.
If a school is failing, changes should be made so all students receive a proper education that prepares them for jobs in the real world. However, standardized testing is not the way to deem students, teachers, schools, or districts as failing. Funding should be forwarded to enhance our public school systems, not to close them based on an inefficient and strict string of testing.